So we got Melly, we got D-Dawg, and we got YB. If you haven't hit that notification bell or that like button, make sure that you do if you enjoy the content. So if you were to watch my previous video, you would have seen that D-Dawg ended up getting picked up by the police early while he was on YB's tour, and that's because they felt like, you know, he was supposed to touch his son and, you know, pretty much be sitting down until he actually have his trial or his sentencing, and that's what he didn't do. And he ended up basically just showing a video of him actually having, you know, his son on tour, and he just basically said like it's a business move, you know, he's trying to get out there, and he also had his son with him. He was watching them as well before he actually go to jail, but they didn't like that. They took him to jail early, but he ended up posting something, or his wife ended up posting that he was basically framed, and, you know, I guess he, you know, took to deal with, you know, all the drugs and guns and stuff that was found. The thing that he didn't really like was that, you know, they pinned the murder on him, so he got into a crash at the police chase, and they said that, you know, the dude that was in the passenger seat ended up passing away because of him. But he's saying that it was an unmarked car, that he thought it was the ops pretty much, and he ended up running. He ended up crashing, but he was saying the door was already open, and you can, you know, tell by like the thing, it's called a D-ring on the door, it didn't break off. So the somebody ended up crashing into the side of him. So the person who crashed inside of him is the one that killed him. But the crazy thing about this is he ended up getting sentenced to 10 years. They end up, you know, just picking up and just sentencing him right away. And I think he wasn't even going to talk about, you know, this whole framing situation, because he pretty much already took the deal and he was just waiting to get sentenced. But I guess, you know, that he got picked up abruptly. He just felt like, you know, he had to get his story out, and, you know, felt like the cops was corrupt. They literally was getting arrested, and they was on the news, and they got like a brave team. You got a video of the cop basically picking him up and saying he an op, end up playing Fredo Bang's song in the car. So that whole situation is kind of crazy. But moving on to the situation with YNW Melly and YB. So basically, we all know that YNW Melly and, you know, YB crew, they got into it. You know, one of the members of, you know, YNW ended up, you know, talking about it, and that leads me to this news story of this interview that ended up coming out, or interrogation of, you know, YNW Melly friends. So I don't know if this happened during when the case first started, or I don't know if this happened just recently, because the dude was arrested and he was basically on a different case, and it seemed like they just brought him in. They ended up bringing him in for questioning. He ended up giving up all the information. I don't even think they had to, you know, talk about it. He just said, "Oh, I know what y'all talking about," and he just, you know, started telling everything. But the thing about his story is he kind of blamed it on YB. He's saying, "Oh, I think, you know, YB had something to do with it, because he knew so much about the information," and they started talking about it when they ended up passing away and the whole thing happened. He ended up, you know, talking about, you know, Melly going to Fredo Bang house. He ended up saying he was thinking, you know, Melly did it at the same time. So he ended up giving these different angles, and that's what's kind of, you know, throwing me off. I don't know if he was trying to throw them off with, you know, different stories.
The time y'all figure out they died, like, was posting crazy shit around that time.
Who was?
Every YoungBoy,
Well,
YoungBoy.
Yeah, YoungBoy. Yeah, they were trying to take claim to it. The Love Street Blood family was trying to take claim.
My mindset is like, for YoungBoy, how you know so much about this shit? And you feel me? How you know about it?
Yeah.
The Slang That Iron song from YoungBoy, the remix of Melly song.
When you finally got to Bang's house and you saw Melly, was he wearing the same clothes as he left the club in? What was he wearing?
Tank top and some gym shorts.
What do you think happened?
Same thing y'all think. I would, man. I ain't no snitch, dog. You feel me?
No.
Y'all turn these cameras off. I'll tell y'all boys.
So it was a lot in those two clips. He seemed like he's mixing the bag up. He don't know where he want to go with it, and I feel like he do know the actual story. He just, you know, not gonna tell it blatantly. He trying to mix it up, basically saying that YB had something to do with it. And then he just said, like, you know, he thought that Melly had something to do with it too. He said, "I'm thinking the same thing y'all thinking, that when he went over Fredo Bang house, he did it, and then he just went straight to Fredo Bang house." But it's more to the clip. He was saying, like, you know, he called Melly on FaceTime because Melly called him originally, and he was saying, like, you know, he was trying to act mad in the video, but, you know, he could actually tell that he wasn't really mad, and he was just trying to, you know, talk to him. And I don't know if it's a thing of him trying to actually throw him off, because watching the last part of the video, he said that I'm not a snitch, and then he said, if y'all turn the video, you know, I can tell y'all anything. So that don't really make sense. Like, you're on camera, you know you're on camera, and you're gonna say that, and you said all of this stuff prior, so you already labeled a snitch. So I don't know if he just, you know, confused. But in this next clip is, you know, really crazy. He ended up saying, like, you know, what he think, or the reason why Melly would actually do something to, you know, his homies. And he said, like, you know, Melly was always calling him and talking about the things that, you know, Sack was actually doing to him, and then he really wouldn't say actually the things, but they felt like, you know, it was because Sack was bigger than him.
Melly have to kill his two friends.
I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. That Melly was on FaceTime. Melly like, y'all don't know, bro. Y'all don't know what Sack was doing to me. Y'all don't know what Sack was doing to me, bro. Like, saying it like Sack was his ass or some shit. So I'm like, what you saying, bro? What you saying? Like, what the f Sack was doing to you, nigga? Say it, nigga. And he don't never say, like, he just kept saying, y'all don't know what Sack was doing to me.
Do you think Sack was molesting him?
I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the Sack, bro.
How
Like,
could you molest an adult?
I don't know, but like, Sack bigger than Melly.
So after hearing this, it's crazy how we hearing, you know, new stuff, you know, still today about this case, but it's just many angles that, you know, this whole situation can go. But y'all let me know in the comment section how you feel about D-Dawg getting 10 years and how you feel about what Melly friend was saying in the interrogation room. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.